Hello YouTube, Shlirt here. Earlier I had a stream where I hopped on the PTB, much like this right here, and I basically just looked at everything related to the killer and the survivor, as well as the new map, and give my first opinions on it. And with that, I'm going to start with the knight. First things first, excellent design. Looks absolutely incredible. But on to the meat and potatoes here, his power. So, I went over the power in great detail on the stream, but in an effort to save time here, I'm going to go a little bit less in depth. Basically, what happens is you can tap your power button to activate something called guard summon mode. Once activated, you move kind of like a first person sort of look, except you can't see survivors, kind of like how Spirit can. And then once you decide to, end it, you basically set a patrol and summon one of 3 AI helpers to patrol that until they see a survivor or until the timer runs out. Now, each of the AI helpers does something a little different. Carnifex, the big boy, he breaks or damages objects faster. The assassin actually moves faster during the hunt. I think they're a little bit slower than a survivor, but they move at almost the same speed as the survivor. So they're very threatening. And the last one is the jailer, patrols much longer and is much better at detecting than the other ones. Once any of these 3 spot the survivor, they immediately go to the location where they first spotted the survivor, throw down a flag, and then start chasing that survivor. If a survivor picks up the flag during that point, the knight disappears. If the survivor who is being chased unhooks another survivor, the knight disappears. Or if they outrun the hunt until the timer runs out, the knight disappears. It's a very interesting power, and I think it has a very high skill ceiling. Right quick, I'll go over the perks for the knight, and then I will back out and go over the perks for Vittorio. First things first, nowhere to hide. Whenever you damage a generator, reveal the aura of all survivors standing within 24 meters of your position for 5 seconds. Worth noting here, damage a generator is very vague. What it's referring to is physically taking the damage action where you hold spacebar in front of a generator. It does not work with jolt or pain resonance from what I can tell, and it does not activate on any other form of generator damaging than just kicking it. Very interesting perk. My opinions on it is that it's going to be really powerful for gen kicking playstyles. So characters like Wesker, or if you're running a gen kicking build on Oni, will get pretty good use out of this perk. It also pairs very nicely with Lethal Pursuer, upping that up to 7 seconds instead of 5 seconds. Next up is Hex Face the Darkness. Injuring a survivor by any means lights a dull totem, activates this perk, and curses that survivor. While the Hex is active, all other survivors outside of your terror radius, very important, outside of your terror radius, will scream intermittently, revealing their auras for 2 seconds each time. Other survivors can also see the aura of the cursed survivor for 8 seconds. When the survivor enters the dying state or becomes healthy, so basically when you down them or they heal back up, the totem becomes dull again and this perk deactivates. This perk is permanently disabled once its hex totem is cleansed. In a situation where you're able to keep up the pressure consistently, this is actually very good information. I think this is going to be very well synergized with actually the Dredge's Hex 3rd Seal build that's been going around recently. I think this is going to slot in really nicely to that. And last up for the killer perks, we have Hubris. Whenever you're stunned by a survivor, note, stunned by a survivor, I found out this works with head-on. It also works with Decisive Strike, and it also works with regular pallet stuns. Decisive Strike, they're going to be injured anyway, so this perk doesn't matter in that scenario, but it's pretty nice against head-on and works exceptionally well with Spirit Fury and Enduring. Basically, whenever you're stunned by a survivor, that survivor is exposed for 10, 15, or 20 seconds, depending on this perk's level, and it has a cooldown of 20 seconds. So it's a pretty fast turnaround between it being the survivor being exposed and this perk, being up again. Unlike Starstruck, for example. Other than that, the knight is an average killer at 4.6 meters per second and a 32 meter terror radius with an average height. I think the average height's a bit disingenuous because if you look here, this character is almost the same height as Oni, In fact, I would argue they're even slightly taller than Oni when Oni's standing up. But Oni's labeled as tall, so weird situation if you ask me. Anyway, time to look at the survivors perks, and then I'm going to hop into a bot custom match and show you how that looks. First things first, initial thoughts about the survivor.
Oh no, he's hot!
Oh, hot, 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 hot! Hot, 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 hot!
This dude looks like an absolute Chad, and he's completely dripping. To be completely honest with you, I have no clue where he gets these jeans, because in his lore, he's literally from the 14th century. So, I don't know where this man got his denim. Alright, right quick, going over potential energy. I think this alone might be the most impactful perk out of any of them, killer or survivor this time around. Basically, after working on a generator for 8 uninterrupted seconds, you can press the active ability button 2 to activate this perk. When this perk is active, repairing a generator will charge it instead of actually progressing the generator, and I did the math on it. For every 1.35 seconds of generator repair, that's while solo, you'll get a token. You can stack up to 20 tokens, and then, while this perk has at least 1 token and you are working on a generator, you can press the active ability button 2 again to consume all tokens and instantly make the generator progress by 1% for each token. Then this perk deactivates and you have to restack the token. If you lose a health state, you lose all tokens and the perk deactivates. If you miss a skill check, you lose some charges. It's an interesting setup. I'd have to test it once it goes live. Next up is Fogwise. Hitting a great skill check while repairing the generator reveals the killer's aura for 6 seconds. I wasn't blown away when I read this perk, and to be completely honest with you, I was blown away by Wiretap when I read that perk back in Project W, but not everybody takes Wiretap like I thought they would. And to be honest with you, this seems almost like a worse alert, which is a perk that I don't see ever, so I'm not even sure I'm going to see this perk at all. Quick gambit, when you are chased within 24 meters of a generator, any other survivor working on that generator receives an 8% speed boost to the repair action. Issue I see with this perk is that it's extremely situational, more often than not. If you are looping the killer near a generator for long enough for this to actually do something, because 8% isn't a lot. Throughout 90 seconds, it removes about 7 seconds off the generator. And that's if you're on there with this 8% from start to finish. You aren't going to loop a killer near any gen in the game for that long, so I don't actually see that being this impactful. But any situation in which you're effectively looping the killer near a generator, and they hear that generator being repaired, they're probably just going to go to that generator and give up the chase. All in all, visually, big fan of this DLC. And I'm going to go over the Knights add-ons right quick. I went over them super in-depth during the stream. Unfortunately, that footage was unusable, so I'm going to do it all again here. Alright, sorry about that. Now we're here, and I will go over the add-ons. First things first, starting with the commons, we got Tattered Tabard. Increases patrol time for all guards by 6 seconds. From what I can tell, this is pretty good because there's a set time that your guards can patrol for, so an extra 6 seconds could give them another pass that a survivor might not be expecting. Pillaged Mead decreases the amount of time it takes for a guard to complete their order action by 25%. This basically adds an additional 25% break speed to your followers. But as far as I can tell, you only really want to break stuff if it's not, if you don't need it done right away, or if you have Carnifex coming next up, in which case it'll get destroyed plenty fast enough. Very interesting effect though. Increases the detection range for guards on patrol by 6 meters. You'll see once I get into game here in a moment, the detection range for guards on patrol is quite large, especially for the jailer. So an extra 6 meters might not make a whole lot of difference. Gritty Lump increases guards' movement speed while on patrol by 9%. This is actually significant. Next up we have Treated Blade, and one thing I neglected to mention earlier is that the 3 guards that you get, the 3 followers, Carnifex, the Assassin, and the Jailer, always come in that order. The first one you summon in a match will always be Carnifex, and it'll always go through that order and loop back around at the end. However, there are add-ons that change this, like Treated Blade. When cycling through summon guards, the assassin appears twice in a row. This basically means 4 summons per cycle with 2 assassins. Similarly, we have Cold Steel Manacles, which does the same thing but for the Jailer, and Battle Axe Head, which does the same thing but for the Carnifex. Next up, we have 2 of my favorite add-ons so far for the night. Dried Horse Meat. This increases the amount of time a guard will hunt a survivor by 4 seconds. You'll see once we get in game, the hunt doesn't actually last super long. And Call to Arms. Increases the length of patrol path by 10 meters. And when creating the path, movement speed is increased by 25%. This basically increases the movement speed of your actual patrol path setting, like the movement speed for your power, by 25%, and that is huge. You'll find out why that's huge in a moment, especially in Chase. Next up, we got Town Watch's Torch. When a survivor escapes the guard hunt without being hit 3 times, you get undetectable for 25 seconds. You really don't want to have a guard hunt not end in a hit as much as you can. I would have to test this out a little bit more. Maybe it's more frequent that a guard hunt will end without the survivor being hit, but even if it is, I don't think 25 seconds is a massive amount. Next, when a survivor escapes a guard hunt successfully, so just 1, they suffer from the Oblivious status effect for 20 seconds. This is very similar to the Town Watch's Torch, but in a sense, it ends up being just for 1 person. So I feel like Ironworker's Tongs might actually be the better add-on between the 2, and I don't even think it's that powerful of an effect to begin with. Grim Iron Mask, on the other hand, when a survivor is detected by a guard, so not even hit, not even escape the hunt, detected, the survivor suffers from blindness for 60 seconds. I think the extra confusion that this causes could be very good. Chainmail Fragment inflicts hemorrhage when a guard damages a survivor. Broken Hilt inflicts mangled when damaging a survivor. Standard stuff, these 2 together just give you Sloppy Butcher with your attack, or with your power. Next up, we got Lightweight Greaves. After summoning the Jailer, the Knight's movement speed is increased by 10% for 6 seconds. So an interesting thing I theory crafted on stream was that you would just take one of the uncommons and then the associated purple with that character and just get massive value out of it. With Lightweight Greaves, 10% movement speed for 6 seconds is pretty large. I haven't tested it, but I definitely will once it hits live. Next, Healing Poultice. After summoning the assassin, all survivors more than 36 meters from the guard's initial position scream and reveal their current location for 3 seconds. Very solid information, and when coupled with Treated Blade, I think it's going to end up being a ton of information just in your base kit alone. Flint and Steel. After summoning the Carnifex, the Knight can see the auras of all survivors within 24 meters of any unbroken pallet for 5 seconds. Really solid, however I don't think you're going to end up in too many situations where the pallet remains broken. And Blacksmith's Hammer. When a survivor escapes a hunt by any means other than the flag, so by any means other than picking up the standard that the guard throws down, that survivor is hindered and exhausted for 15 seconds. I don't know how big the hinder is, and being exhausted for 15 seconds is either huge or not huge depending on what exhaustion perk they have. Now into the 2 ultra rares. Every 4th guard summon causes survivors within 8 meters of that guard to suffer from the exposed status effect for 8 seconds. This is something you have to track yourself. I don't think there's any way to tell in-game what number you're on. This is really solid because you can just basically get right up against the survivor, summon a guard really quick, and then that survivor's exposed. Then you just smack them as soon as you get out of your power. Iridescent Company Banner. Now, if there's any perk or any add-on in here that I probably underrated, I think it's this one. When a survivor is hunted by a guard, spikes block the exit gate for the hunted survivor, so this blocks exit gates. When they vault, that vault location is blocked for all survivors for the duration of the hunt, and while creating a patrol path, passing through vault locations will block these locations for 15 seconds. Right quick, I'm going to also show you how you can add bots to custom games once this drops. You just click the plus right here, and instead of Invite Friend, you click Add Bot. And in effort of brevity, I'm going to show the games with the bots as well, and we will be right back with that in just a moment. Alright. Alright, we're here at the new map, Shattered Square. My first impressions of it, very red. Extremely red. These wide open spaces are excellent for actually seeing survivors. Here we'll use our power to patrol this gen. Alright, does it aggro onto somebody? It does. Unfortunately, since I injured him, the knight immediately goes away, but my power does immediately get refreshed. The bots are actually surprisingly good. Not gonna lie to you. There's a little bit of the example of how to use his power in a loop. You can actually just force a survivor out of a loop, basically, by using your power. There is one thing about these guys, the bots, they do not actually think about whether or not you can see them. Which is not the case, because it was this one. Did you get in the locker? You did! Spicy play by the bot, because trust me, I'm terrible at looping, and I've met some other people who are just as terrible as me. Saw someone for a moment here. Let's see if that'll spot him. It doesn't, because he doubled back. Yep, here's the Jill. Yeah, and for such a big weapon, it really doesn't take up... Okay, that was just a dumb play. It really doesn't take up a lot of the screen. Sweet. Let me make it to this skirt hook. So one interesting thing about this killer is I feel like you play loops almost exactly how you would play loops if you were Dredge. You basically just get into a decent position on the loop and just just drop your power right on the loop. And it either forces the survivor to move away from it, or they're gonna get hit. They're over here. We're gonna send this guy over here. Just to try and cut off the exit of the Yoichi there. And we're gonna kick it just to make sure no one's sticking around with no way out, or nowhere to hide. I'm gonna mess that up so many times, promise you. The bots actually also try to spin you, which is interesting. They're not great at it, but I'm honestly surprised by any attempt. So, we heard the Rebecca there. She's stuck in this situation where I put the thing ahead of her and she just didn't really have anywhere to go. Interesting to note, you cannot block, or yeah, you cannot body block survivors while they are being hunted. Just 1-2 combo them. Okay, Vittorio is... the bot survivors seem to crouch a lot more than they should, really. Let's go ahead and drop this here, and it's going to patrol this loop and aggro onto him. I'm going to wait for it to get the hit on him, actually, so I can show you double tapping. Now, a normal survivor would not react to that situation by just standing completely still. But you can see how in that situation, I would have forced the survivor either off the loop or to take a hit. Because otherwise, they just get instantly downed. Another thing about the AI is if you're nearby, they tend to not actually go for saves. So in the effort of being able to show off more about this match, I'm just going to move away from that situation. Come on. Do they make it in time? They do not. Don't worry, guys. Even AI... Oh, they made it! Wow. I was about to say, even AI... We're going to try and cut off this Yuichi here. Even AI don't save their teammates. Alright, I was a little slow on that. I think there's going to be an art to being able to actually aim it properly. Let's see if we can corral this survivor back towards the hunt area. Oh, we can. I don't know if it's going to aggro onto him, though. Doesn't matter. We're going to go and kick this, because this has progressed. And nowhere to hide will show me that no one's nearby. That's actually a really sweet use of that perk. Just being able to kick a generator after downing a survivor, and just knowing if anybody's nearby or not. One thing this character seems like they will excel at, as people get better at it, is area denial. It seems like he'll be able to really lock down an area without much issue at all. Alright, Rebecca is dead on hook, so we'll be able to show the Mori. Oh no, Rebecca, honey. Alright. That's a weird pickup animation because it seems like she just fell right into my arms. We're going to show the Mori here, though, and I'm going to be very quiet for it because it's a sick Mori. I think that has to hands down be the most brutal Mori in the game now. Alright, Jill thought she was sneaky. Honestly, maybe she was. Is that Jill? That is Jill, okay. We're gonna go this way just to cut him off. Okay. Listen. Work in progress, work in progress. The bots are not perfect. Ooh, actually, they're here. Or at least Yoichi is. Okay, we're gonna send this guy in after him. Basically to just start in the loop. And look, it aggroed onto him. He's hunted. Let's see it. One thing that the guards are not great at is dealing with loops. Now, they go away as soon as you or them get an injure. One thing you can use your power to do is to go and scope out an area really quick. See, I could have had my follower kick that gen. And against actual survivors, that might be better because they'll be forced off when they see your power. Very sick pallet break, by the way. Alright, our power's back up. So we are going to send it ahead of Vittorio. Basically to start there. Did he double back? Is this Vittorio just an absolute giga chad? Nah, he's a corner hugger. See, they try to spin you. Oh, he's dead. Alright. They completed this generator over here. As a quick look at this area, this seems interesting because straight in here is a vault. A mobile killer wouldn't struggle with that at all. So as far as main buildings go, I don't think this is very powerful. You've got this entrance here with a pallet, leads out to this area. This entrance here, which as far as it's spawned, leads out to nothing. Like you can connect it to that one there. That's about it. Strong parts upstairs, you got a drop here, a drop here. The stairs always spawn across from the gen. I'm pretty sure this is a hard set gen spawn. It's always been there. And there's a vault. So survivor goes to that vault. I think the play is literally to just swing left, lunge around this corner to try and get to them before they can recover from the fall. Let's go ahead and end this match. Cut him off over there. I might spot Vittorio. I wonder if it goes away when I hit Yoichi here. It does not. Oh, Jill, not Vittorio. Yeah, hiding in a locker once you start getting hunted does not save you. Let's go ahead and get a Mori again. God, it's just so incredible. I will never get sick of that. He has not found Hatch yet. Alright, right quick before I kill this Yoichi, I do want to show the exit gates on this map. They look incredible. Look at this. It's absolutely disgusting. Hatch is over there. Alright, by absolutely disgusting, I mean incredible. Alright, here right quick is a pallet break. Yep, and as you can see, Carnifex does break it pretty quick. And let's go ahead and kill Yoichi and wrap up this match. Absolutely brutal, Mori. So, that's going to conclude this video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Just as a recap, we went over the new Night Killer's perks. We went over the new Survivor's perks. We showed what it's like to go against bots. And we showed the Killer's Mori and the new map. So we pretty much showed all the new content that there is with this chapter. I didn't show any things like the bug fixes, the nerfs, the buffs, like the buff to flashlight, the bug fix on mother-daughter ring for spirit, and stuff like that. But I'm sure you'll be able to find stuff about it out there, especially once it hits live. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'm excited to see this stuff hit live. I hope you are too, and I'll see you then. Peace.